A former Premier has hit back at Tony Fitzgerald for calling the government fools. The architect of Queensland's anti-corruption regime is contemptuous of changes to the CMC, and at least one government MP has doubts about the overhaul.
Despite the vehement opposition of lawyers, academics and even former CMC heads, the LNP revamp of the Commission is going ahead. Tony Fitzgerald calls it a debacle, on the whims of a few inexperienced, arrogant fools who seem unaware of the extent of their own ignorance.
I'm talking about the name calling, and I'm just not going to get into the gutter of that, and I'm not going to name call.
Others sprang to Mr Blai's defence.
A little angry, probably, for Tony to have called him and others fools.
The last Conservative Premier, Rob Borbidge, had a rocky relationship with the then CJC in the 90s. He says Mr Fitzgerald should acknowledge that times change.
This is not the Queensland of the Fitzgerald era, and Mr Fitzgerald needs to accept that.
He says governments of both persuasions have amended Fitzgerald reforms.
A lot of what he proposed was good in principle, but in practice simply didn't work.
But not everyone in government is comfortable with the CMC overhaul.
We can't afford to spend our political capital on things that are not really important to Queensland, and I'm yet to be convinced that this is essential to the future of Queensland, this change.
The opposition will vote against the removal of the requirement for bipartisan endorsement of the chairman, even though a parliamentary committee will get power of veto. Which is the case for the New South Wales Commission Against Corruption.
It seems to be working very well in dealing with corruption down there.
I don't care what New South Wales does. It has worked well in Queensland. Why would we change it?
Another proposed change will be tweaked. The Premier wants to make it clear that the QCCC will deal with crime and corruption.
One should not be more important than the other.
The amendments are yet to be debated. Chris O'Brien, ABC News, Brisbane.